All right, let's get straight to it. This is a high conviction thesis on NIO, and it's not based on hype or sentiment. This is a story told by the numbers, and those numbers are pointing to a fundamental structural inflection that I believe the market has completely missed.
But to really understand why this turnaround is so powerful, we have to go back. We have to start in the Valley of Death, the beginning of 2025, because for a brief and frankly terrifying moment, the bear case against NIO wasn't just a theory, it was absolutely correct.
You have to understand, in the first quarter of 2025, the conversation wasn't about growth, it wasn't about the future, it was about pure survival. The company was staring down the barrel of severe liquidity stress, a painful gap between product cycles, and it was burning through cash at an alarming rate. The market had every right to be scared.
And the numbers, they were brutal. Revenues just collapsed, falling almost 39% from the quarter before. Gross margins, they crashed to a low of just 7.6%. This was the absolute bottom. This was the moment it felt like the entire enterprise could just go over the cliff.
But then, just 2 quarters later, something remarkable happened. The data started telling a completely different story. And this is it, the structural inflection. This is the aha moment that this entire thesis is built on. It's where the whole narrative flips on its head.
So the multi-billion-dollar question is this: what on earth happened in the third quarter of 2025 that so radically altered the company's path? Well, the answer is in a paradox, something that just defies the normal rules of the auto industry.
Okay, so first, the obvious thing happened. NIO launched its mass-market ONVO brand, right? So as expected, the company's average selling price, the ASP, went down. They were selling cheaper cars to more people. The average price fell from about 270,000 RMB down to 220,000. No surprise there at all.
But this is the part that changes everything. This is the paradox. Even though they were selling cheaper cars, the actual profitability on each car, the vehicle margin, went up. It actually rose from 13.1% to 14.7%. Now that's not supposed to happen. You sell cheaper stuff, your margins get squeezed. But here, they expanded. This is the core of the entire inflection point.
So what does this tell us? Well, it's proof of what I'm calling supply chain mastery. It proves that NIO has finally hit a scale where it can dictate terms to its suppliers, get those Tier 1 prices from giants like CATCL. It proves their new vehicle platform is incredibly efficient. To put it simply, they figured out how to cut their costs way faster than they cut their prices.
And listen, this wasn't some one-time fluke or an accounting trick. The data provides a whole barrage of evidence that this inflection is the real deal, and it's being powered by a newly ignited operating leverage engine. This entire financial turnaround really boils down to 3 critical forces all working together perfectly, which we're going to break down right now.
First, and honestly this might be the most important one, positive operating cash flow. For the very first time, the core business, just building and selling cars, is generating more cash than it's spending. The company is now self-sustaining. The existential threat of running out of cash, it's off the table.
Second, look at this, real spending discipline. R&D expenses dropped 28% compared to the year before. This is a massive signal, right? It means the heavy investment cycle, all the money poured into new platforms, new brands, new chips, it's over. NIO is officially shifting from a high-spend building mode into a harvest phase.
And third, just look at the growth. The deliveries exploded in a perfect textbook J-curve. A sharp drop, followed by this dramatic accelerating recovery, all driven by the instant success of the ONVO brand. They went from a low of 42,000 cars in Q1 to over 87,000 by Q3. The growth engine is firing on all cylinders. So let's bring it all home. What's the final verdict here? The data proves unequivocally that NIO has transformed its business model. It has graduated from a story of pure survival to a story of true industrial scale.
This side-by-side tells the whole story. It's night and day. A year ago, revenue was actually shrinking. Today, it's growing at nearly 17%. Gross margins have hit a 3-year high. The operating loss has been slashed by more than 30%. And look at the adjusted Rule of 40. They went from a failing score of 8.6 to a very healthy passing score over 30. The transformation is just stark, and it's undeniable.
So the key takeaway is this: NIO has graduated. The old bear arguments about unsustainable cash burn and being stuck in a niche luxury market, they're obsolete now. They're based on old data.
The new data confirms they have achieved industrial scale and they've done it with sound unit economics.
And that leaves us with the final, definitive takeaway. The single biggest fear investors had, that going mass market would just mean selling more cars for an even bigger loss, has been proven completely wrong. The data is crystal clear. The profitless volume myth is busted.